Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Hope everybody's doing good. Yes, all right, man, it's pretty hot on this side. Um, yeah, that heat hasn't gone anywhere. But anyway, guys, let's dive right into it. Title is This is Why Your Kitchen Cabinet is So Expensive. Have you noticed that everything is expensive these days? And it's no secret. You know, all you gotta do is turn on the news and you see somebody in a suit talking about they're gonna raise or they're gonna slap some more tariffs on everything. And that's pretty much the reason why why everything's expensive. Really, anything that's being imported into this country it's being slapped with tariffs, duties, all these things to make you come out of pocket even more. So we're going to dive into how that affects you as a tradesman, or just you as a homeowner, a DIYer, or whatever. Right? Let's try to keep it in tune with the theme of the channel. So let's dive right into it, guys. What do you think are the most imported goods into the country that's getting slapped with these tariffs, right? Well, steel, lumber, right? Okay, well, yeah. Well, yeah, obviously lumber. Did you know that Canada supplies about a third of the lumber to the U.S.? And um, your man in the government, he's just railing them with duties and already existing duties were on the lumber coming in from Canada, but he slapped some more tariffs on them, so it made the cost of lumber even that much more expensive. But the main products that we import are steel, aluminum, copper, and believe it or not, kitchen cabinets, and some upholstered furniture. I bet you didn't know that, right? And that's why I said, why is your kitchen cabinet so expensive? So the reasons they gave for these tariffs, fair trade, right? We're going to try to make trade fair across the board. That was the reason. Then there was the national security reasons as well. But whatever reasons that they gave, if it was fake or not, the prices just gone up. Material costs have gone up, and you see that across the board. So let's talk about steel, aluminum, and lumber. Okay, those things they went up around, according to the research, about 50%. Okay, and if you are a tradesman and say an electrician, right, and you got to buy electrical panels, you got to buy conduit, you may have to buy some more industrial equipment. You're going to feel that. Okay, and guess what? You're going to pass that cost on to the customer. And that's basically how it goes, right? It all trickles down to you and me, the consumer, when we go out to these stores or when we hire these contractors. And but to be fair, the tariffs are not just one blanket tariff over all the products. Some tariffs have hit certain products more than others. So say your contractor may the cost of one material may be higher than say the concrete may be the regular price, but another material may not. And so that's the volatility of these tariffs. You don't really know what it's going to hit unless you do your research, right? And you can plan accordingly, right? But I remember a few years back on the live, I was talking about lumber and how during the pandemic era, and how lumber shot up back then. And I don't know if it was really due to the supply chain problems that we were having back then. The mills were shutting down and all that stuff, and it wasn't enough demand, and so lumber experienced a spike, and it kind of went up and down as well. But even now today, lumber is, I think there's like a 10% tariff on lumber according to my research for this live. And like I said, Canada supplies about a third of the lumber to the US, and a lot of the mills in Canada, because of these tariffs, are closing down too, right? So and then you have higher renovation costs, right? A lot of people are doing more renovating than buying new homes, so that's causing the price of lumber to skyrocket as well. So you have tariffs slapped on top of that, it's just a mess, right? So then that trickles down to what I said, as far as like cabinets and kitchen components and things like that. Like I said, most people don't even expect, what do those have to do with it? Well, those things are imported as well, right? So there's tariffs being slapped on those. And so if you want to, like I said, renovate your kitchen or even your bathroom or whatever, you're gonna see you're probably gonna come out of pocket a little more as well. So, but in my case, even with this channel, I sometimes I rent tools, sometimes I buy tools, and even it's hitting me as well, because if I go out there and I buy a tool, I got to come out of pocket as well, right? Like a lot of these brands that you think are American, they're not. They're made in China, right? You're talking about Milwaukee, Makita. I think Makita's Japanese, but a lot of these power tools, American, power tools, they're sourced from China, so they're getting tariffs slapped on top of those. So I'm feeling the pinch as well, because every time I go out there and I buy a tool to do a video or something like that, or I rent a tool, I got to think about it. It's like, do I want to spend $200 on this, whatever, this power tool, or do I want to go find something that's a little simpler to do a video on? So I got to watch my pockets too, man. So yeah, it's hitting everybody. And so that's pretty much what's going on. It says China manufactures roughly 85% of all power tools, guys, sold in the U.S., including tools sold under American brand names: Stanley Black & Decker, Milwaukee, Craftsman. A lot of these tools are being made over there. And says the tariffs on power tools are at around 34%, up from 0% before 2025. That's a direct line item increase of on a lot of cordless drills, saws, and combo kits. You're telling me brands aren't equally exposed? It says Stanley Black & Decker has confirmed high single-digit price increases, while Makita's Japan-based manufacturing gives it comparatively lower tariff exposure than China-heavy competitors. So that may be something that you guys want to think about, because Japan is not getting hit like China with the tariffs. So you may want to think about where you want to go buy your tool or source your equipment. And I'm sure a lot of companies are doing that. They're looking at, okay, where can we find a safe haven from these tariffs as far as manufacturing overseas? And yeah, I'm sure that's happening. It says even USA assembled tools aren't fully insulated. Lithium battery cells are almost universally made in China, South Korea, or Japan, with essentially no domestic alternative at scale. And motor controllers and circuit boards are mostly manufactured in Asia too. So batteries and electronics carry tariff costs even when the housing says assembled in the USA. America shot itself in the foot. Okay, the U.S. shot itself in the foot back in the days when they started outsourcing their manufacturers, right? And fast forward like all these decades later, and you're slapping tariffs on manufacturers or other countries, and you could have been manufacturing your stuff at home, or kept your manufacturing base intact. But because you got greedy and you saw, hey, look, I can get it done cheaper, and you turn the U.S. into a consumer-based economy, now you're paying the price, because now you have a president that just don't give a damn, really. And it's just, saying, okay, I'm going to fix everything. Well, if you didn't mess it up in the first place, not necessarily him, but back in the days when they started to outsource, these corporations started to outsource their manufacturing, then you probably wouldn't have this problem, right? It probably wouldn't be as expensive in the stores at the register. But everything comes full circle, and we all got to pay the price for our decisions. All right, so that's basically what's going on, guys. Didn't mean for this to be a long live. I just wanted to give a quick, synopsis on what's happening as to why, the price tags have shot up in your local hardware store. If you're a tradesman or a DIYer, and of course, this applies across the board, everywhere in every industry. But I'm focusing on my wheelhouse here. So that's what's happening with tariffs and how it's affecting you. So don't be surprised out there. Just try to, shop smart, and who knows when it's going to end, because they keep on slapping these tariffs on these countries like it's going out of style. It's almost like they want to run inflation up so high and just stall everything out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Anyway, if you got any comments, feel free to leave them, and hope you guys are doing well. It's a short one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.